Welcome to Short Movie Channel. Our movie begins with three friends heading out on a hunting trip. During the trip, one of them, named Dale, tries to hunt but fails to aim properly and misses catching the rabbit. His friends start mocking him, saying, "You can't even catch a rabbit!" Feeling embarrassed, Dale walks away from them to try his luck in a different spot. Suddenly, a bald man appears and strangles him. Before killing him, the man says, "Remember Mary?" Then, he throws him off a cliff. In this scene, we are introduced to the bald man, who turns out to be the hero of our movie, Ryan Verrett. Ryan was formerly a police officer, but now he is on a mission to avenge his family, who were killed by a gang. Afterward, Ryan gets in his car, and as he drives, he recalls the day of the party he attended with his police officer friends and their families. That day, a gang led by their boss, Dirk, attacked the party and killed Ryan's wife, Mary, along with his son. It becomes clear that Dale, the man Ryan threw off the cliff, was a member of the gang that killed his family. We flash back to the party and learn that Ryan was severely injured that day but miraculously survived to continue his mission. The next day, Ryan travels to a town called Hope, which is where the gang that killed his family is based. The gang's leader is named Dirk. Upon arriving in the town, Ryan stops at a gas station owned by a man named Kirby to buy a few supplies. Kirby feels suspicious of Ryan, thinking he might be a thief. Nonetheless, Ryan pays for his items and asks Kirby about a place to stay. Kirby directs him to a hotel in the town, owned by a woman named Darcy. When Ryan reaches the hotel, he finds it almost empty, with no guests staying there. It's clear that the town's bad reputation and the danger of living there, due to Dirk's gang, are the reasons for this. Elsewhere, Federal Agent Frank is shown holding a meeting with his team to devise a plan to capture Dale, who is revealed to be a highly dangerous criminal, a murderer, and a rapist. However, during their planning, another federal agent interrupts to inform them that Dale was found dead at the bottom of a cliff. Back to Ryan, he's seen driving around town when he notices a strange man threatening a dog with a gun. Ryan intervenes and stops the man using the same gun. At that moment, the gang leader Dirk appears with his men. Ryan provokes Dirk, but Dirk replies, "I'll see you another time," and leaves with his men, seemingly preoccupied with something more urgent. Later, Dirk instructs his brother Rex to keep an eye on Ryan and gather information about him. The events intensify as the confrontation between Ryan, Dirk, and his gang draws closer. The next evening, the owner of a nightclub refuses to pay the gang protection money. That's when Derek shows up and says to him, "Challenge me to a wrestling match, just one round, and if I win, your entire debt is cleared." Derek starts beating the man brutally, even though the man is huge and well-built. But despite Derek being older, he's clearly athletic and well-maintained. Later, we find out that Derek's gang isn't just selling drugs, they're also manufacturing them in their lab, which is run by Rex, Derek's brother. Meanwhile, Rex is still keeping an eye on Ryan and heads to the hotel at night to ask Darcy about him. When Darcy refuses to give any information, Rex grabs the guest book and threatens her with his gun. At that moment, Ryan walks in, attacks Rex, and completely humiliates him. Darcy admires Ryan's actions and tells him that Rex is the gang leader's brother. Ryan confirms her story, drags Rex across the ground, ties him to a car, and loads the car with explosives. He drives it straight into the lab, blowing it up entirely. When Derek and his men arrive at the scene, they find the lab burning and completely destroyed, with Rex dead inside. The police chief arrives to investigate and speaks with Derek about what happened. But Derek, furious, dismisses him, saying, "Get lost! This has nothing to do with you," and threatens the chief's son, a young officer named Jack. Later, Derek orders Kirby to keep an eye on Ryan and find out everything about him. The next day, Ryan tracks the gang's drug transport trucks. He deliberately blows out one of the truck's tires, and when the driver gets out to fix it, Ryan attacks him, beats him up, and sets the truck on fire, causing it to explode. When Derek hears about the destroyed truck and the massive amount of drugs lost, he becomes enraged. Later, Ryan catches Kirby searching his car. Kirby confesses that Derek forced him to do it. At that moment, another gang member shows up and attacks Ryan, but Ryan doesn't let it slide. He punches the guy hard, leaves him beaten, and sends him back to Derek. At the same time, Derek is with the police chief, demanding to know who blew up his drug truck. Derek believes the police are behind it, but the chief denies any involvement, suggesting instead that Ryan might be responsible. It's revealed that the chief is deeply corrupt, as he accepts a hefty bribe from Derek in exchange for this information. Meanwhile, Ryan prepares to take down Derek's gang. But Jack, the police chief's son, warns him that it's not the right time for such a move. Jack admits that he, too, wants to get rid of the gang but notes that their numbers are too large for Ryan to handle alone. Later, Ryan talks to Darcy and opens up about Derek's gang, explaining that they killed his wife and son. They had intended to kill him too, but they failed. The next day, Derek decides to kill Carby because he didn't do what he was told. Derek and his men go to Carby's house, telling him, "You brought this on yourself, pal," and kill him, too, since Derek suspects Carby was helping Ryan and working with him. Meanwhile, Chief Frank arrives at Mad Hope to investigate the murder of Rixie. He meets the corrupt officer in charge and asks him about the murder case and the names of the suspects. The officer dismisses it, saying the incident was an accident. He adds, "If you don't believe me, you can ask his brother." Later, Ryan hears the news of Carby's murder. Determined to avenge him, he goes to the billiard hall where the gang usually gathers. Ryan grabs a billiard ball and starts a full-blown fight, taking down the gang members one by one. He even captures one of them, a guy named Crab, forcing him into his car. Ryan drives straight to Derek's hideout, setting one of Derek's men on fire and brutalizing Derek's right-hand man right in front of him. Furious, Derek orders his men to arm themselves and kill both Ryan and Darcy by night. That night, Ryan is in his car, reflecting on the day of the party when he was joking around with his son and playing with him. His wife had joined in, teasing him about carrying a gun even on their party day. "Even today?" she had said. Ryan had laughed it off. Suddenly, masked men stormed in and started shooting everyone. Ryan also remembers standing at their gravesite, his colleague offering condolences and urging him to stay calm and take some time off. They promised him justice against the gang, but Ryan chose to set the law aside and take matters into his own hands, killing 3 gang members. While Darcy is staying at a hotel, she hears a strange noise outside her room. Panicking, she grabs her shotgun to defend herself, but Ryan shows up and tells her to hide behind the table. Soon, gang members burst into the room. In the dark, a chaotic gunfight ensues, punches are thrown, bullets are fired, and no one knows who's hitting who. When Darcy turns the lights back on, all the gang members are lying dead on the floor. Just then, one remaining gang member comes in and points his gun at them. Darcy fires, but she misses. Ryan, however, takes him down with a single, precise shot. Standing tall and unscathed, Ryan tells her, "This hotel is no longer safe. We need to find a new place." As soon as they leave, more of Derek's men are waiting outside. They ambush Ryan, beating him until he passes out and abducting Darcy. The FBI agent Frank arrives at the hotel with Jack, the officer's son, only to find the bodies scattered around. Ryan regains consciousness in the gang's hideout, tied to a chair. Derek sits across from him, mocking him, saying, "We're going to have so much fun, buddy." Derek declares that the fight is over and that he's going to kill Ryan himself. He also plans to let one of his men assault Darcy before killing her, as Derek claims he's not into that kind of stuff. Derek orders one of his men to have some fun with Ryan before finishing him off. The thug starts beating Ryan, taunting him with a knife, threatening to scar him, and claiming he'd love to kill him himself. But Derek wants to save that pleasure for himself. At that moment, Ryan musters all his strength, breaking free from the ropes. He beats the thug unconscious and starts searching the hideout, which turns out to be a ship. More of Derek's men confront him, but Ryan takes them down despite being outnumbered. At one point, he throws a guy through the cabin window, smashing the glass. After defeating the gang members, Ryan keeps searching the ship until he finds Darcy tied to a chair with tape over her mouth. He frees her, and as they try to escape, they discover a stash of drugs and weapons. Darcy remarks, "This stuff is worth millions." Derek suddenly appears, laughing, and says, "That's right, sweetheart. You're absolutely right." Realizing there's no way out without fighting Derek one-on-one, Ryan tells Darcy to hide, and she complies. Derek taunts her. "Good girl, listen to him and get out of the way." Turning to Ryan, he says, "So, you're the cop Ryan Vart who killed my brother's wife and kid? Man, I thought you were dead when I unmasked you. Turns out you're here for revenge, huh? That's why you killed my brother, Rixie." Ryan responds, "I made a mistake." Derek asks, "Oh yeah? What was that?" Ryan replies, "I should have killed you first." A brutal fight breaks out between the two. They exchange punches, incorporating boxing and professional wrestling moves. At one point, Derek grabs a knife and stabs Ryan in the shoulder, but Ryan knocks the knife away. Tying his hand to Derek's, Ryan delivers relentless blows until Derek collapses from exhaustion. Untying himself, Ryan hears the police arriving as they raid the ship, finally closing in on the gang. Darcy arrives and sees Ryan standing while Derek is lying on the ground. She says to him, "Are you sure he's dead?" Before she can finish her sentence, Derek suddenly gets up, holding a knife, and is about to stab Ryan from behind. But suddenly, the sound of gunfire is heard. Darcy looks and sees Federal Agent Frank and the police arriving and arresting all the gang members. As Ryan is about to leave, Agent Frank stops him, pointing a gun at him. Ryan smirks and says, "What's up, man? Are you going to arrest me or what?" Frank replies, "I wish I could, but now's not the time." Ryan asks, "And what's stopping you?" Frank responds, "Because there's no evidence against you. Everyone in Hope City loves you, and no one is willing to testify against you." Ryan smiles and says, "Do you know why?" Frank replies, "Of course, because you're a good, honorable cop who only takes down the bad guys." Ryan smiles again, gets into his car, and prepares to leave the city, heading back to Texas. Darcy shows up again and says, "Hey, at least say goodbye before you leave." Ryan walks over, says goodbye to her, and she tells him, "Take care of yourself." He bids her farewell and drives off, bringing our movie's events to an end. We hope you enjoyed today's film. Don't forget to support us by giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed it.